Have you ever been in a conversation and you answer a question feeling confident, but then you see a confused look on the other person's face?
Oh, that is the worst feeling. You realize in that moment you answered the wrong question.
Exactly. It happens to everyone. Today on English Audio Lab, we are going to talk about what to do in that exact situation so you can keep the conversation going smoothly.
And maybe even how to avoid it. I'm Alicia, and I'm here to learn with you.
And I'm Trevor. Welcome. If you want to feel more confident in real English conversations, make sure you subscribe to English Audio Lab. We post new lessons for you every week.
And stay with us because later in the episode, Trevor is going to share a simple trick that will help you sound more natural when you need to ask for clarification.
It's a really useful one. So let's start with a story. Let's imagine a woman named Maria. She is in a job interview.
Okay, a job interview. That can be a stressful situation.
It can be. The interviewer looks at Maria and asks a common question. How do you handle pressure?
Handle pressure. I've heard that one before.
Right. But Maria is very nervous. She hears the word pressure and her mind thinks of physical pressure, like pushing something heavy.
Oh, I see where this is going.
So Maria answers confidently, I am very strong. I exercise every day and I can lift heavy boxes.
Oh no, that's not what the interviewer meant at all. That's a perfect example of answering the wrong question.
Exactly. The interviewer was asking about mental or emotional pressure, what we often call stress.
So the question, how do you handle pressure, really means how do you manage stress? Or what do you do when work is very busy and difficult?
That's right. So, what can Maria do? The first and simplest thing is to admit the mistake politely.
How can she do that without feeling embarrassed?
She can smile and say a simple phrase. For example, I'm sorry, I misunderstood the question. This phrase is golden. It's clear, polite, and solves the problem immediately.
I like that. I misunderstood the question. It sounds very professional.
It is. Let's practice saying that. I want everyone listening to repeat after me. I misunderstood the question.
Okay, but what if Maria isn't sure she misunderstood? What if she just has a feeling something is wrong?
That's a great point. Instead of answering right away, she can ask for clarification. This is a key skill for any language learner.
So, are there some good phrases for that?
There are a few excellent ones. A very polite one is, could you please rephrase the question? To rephrase means to say it in a different way.
Could you please rephrase the question? Got it.
Another great way is to focus on the word you don't understand. Maria could ask, I'm sorry, what do you mean by pressure?
That's very direct and hopeful. It tells the other person exactly what you need help with.
It does. And finally, you can check your understanding. You can say, so are you asking about how I handle stress?
This shows you are really trying to understand. I think that would impress an interviewer.
I agree. It shows you are a careful and thoughtful communicator. Okay, let's practice these phrases. We will say them slowly, and we invite you to repeat them out loud. Then we'll say them at a more natural speed. Ready, Alicia?
Ready, let's do it.
First phrase, slowly. Could you please rephrase the question?
Now, at a natural speed. Could you please rephrase the question?
And our final phrase for checking, slowly. So, are you asking about stress?
Natural speed. So, are you asking about stress?
Great job. Just remembering one of these phrases can make a huge difference in your confidence.
Okay, a job interview is a very formal situation. What about a more casual, everyday situation? Does this still apply?
Absolutely. Let's imagine a new scenario. You're in a coffee shop in the United States. You order a latte. The barista smiles and asks, for here or to go?
For here or to go? Okay, I know this one now, but many learners might not. They might just hear the word go and get confused.
Exactly. So a learner might answer, yes, I am going to the library. The barista would probably just give them the coffee in a paper cup, but it's another misunderstanding.
Right. So, what does for here or to go mean?
It simply means, do you want to drink your coffee in the coffee shop or do you want to take it out with?
Okay, in the UK, they often say eat in or take away. It's the same idea, just different words.
That's a perfect example of why the skill is so important. English is spoken all over the world. You can't possibly know every local phrase.
So, what could I say in the coffee shop? Saying, could you please rephrase the question might feel a little too formal.
You're right. In a casual setting, you can be more direct and friendly. You could just say, I'm sorry, what does that mean? Or you can use that checking phrase. Do you mean drink here or take out?
That feels very natural. The barista would understand that perfectly.
Yes. And by the way, if you are finding these real life examples helpful for your English learning, please take a moment to hit that subscribe button. It helps our channel grow and helps you never miss a lesson from English Audio Lab.
That's a great point. It's all about context. The way you ask for help in a formal interview is different from how you do it with a friend or a barista. Now, I think it's time for our listeners to practice.
Exactly. And speaking of different contexts, what about phone calls? That's a situation where you can't see the other person's facial expressions or gestures, which can make understanding even more challenging.
I agree. It's your turn to speak. I'm going to ask you a question. I want you to imagine you don't understand it. Out loud, right now, use one of the phrases we learned to ask for clarification. Ready?
That's a fantastic question. On the phone, you can't rely on visual cues, so your words become even more important. The same strategies apply, but you need to be very clear. Phrases like, I'm sorry, I didn't catch that, or could you repeat that please, are invaluable. It's also a good idea to speak a little slower and enunciate clearly to help the other person understand you.
That's a fantastic point. On a phone call, you can't rely on nonverbal cues, so being clear with your words is even more critical. If the connection is bad or the other person has a strong accent, it's easy to mishear something.
That's a good one. On the phone, you might say something like, sorry, I didn't catch that. Could you say it again? Or the connection is a bit weak. Could you repeat that? It's a polite way to ask for repetition without making it seem like you weren't paying attention.
That's a very good question. On the phone, you can't rely on nonverbal cues, so you have to listen even more carefully. It's also perfectly acceptable to say, I'm sorry, the connection is a little bad. Could you please repeat that? This is a polite way to ask for repetition without making it seem like you weren't paying attention. That's a fantastic question. On a phone call, you lose all the visual cues that help with comprehension. One effective technique is to use summarizing. After the other person has explained something, you can say, so just to be clear, you're saying that, and then you repeat the idea in your own words. It confirms you've understood and gives them a chance to correct you. That's so true. On the phone, you lose all the visual cues. You can't see if the other person looks confused. It can be very stressful, especially if it's an important call, like for work or making an appointment.
Here is the question. What are your thoughts on the socioeconomic implications of postmodern architecture?
Wow, Trevor, I don't think even I understand that question.
It was deliberately difficult. So, what did you say, listeners? Did you say, could you rephrase that? Or maybe, what do you mean by socioeconomic implications? Any of those would be perfect.
That's a fun way to practice. It feels like a real conversation.
Okay, Alicia, at the beginning of the episode, I promised a special tip that native speakers use all the time to ask for clarification.
Yes, the natural sounding trick. I'm ready.
It's very simple. Instead of asking a full question, you just repeat the word or phrase you didn't understand, but you say it with a rising intonation, like a question.
How does that work? Give me an example.
Let's go back to the job interview. The interviewer asks, how do you handle pressure? If you don't understand the word pressure, you just look at them and say, pressure?
Oh, just the word with my voice going up at the end, like this. Pressure?
That's it. That's perfect. It's a very fast, efficient way to signal that you need more information about that specific word. The other person will almost always explain it in a simpler way.
So in the coffee shop, if the barista says for here or to go, I could just say to go.
Exactly. And they would probably say yes to take away. It's an amazing tool for learners.
That is so much easier than remembering a long phrase. I'm going to use that one.
My final tip for today is a simple one. Don't be afraid. It is always, always better to admit you don't understand than to pretend you do. People are usually very kind and happy to explain.
Being brave enough to say, I don't know, is a real superpower in language learning.
It really is. Okay, let's do a quick summary of what we learned today.
First, we learned that it's okay to misunderstand a question. It happens to everybody.
Second, if you realize you made a mistake, you can politely say, I'm sorry, I misunderstood the question.
Third, if you aren't sure what a question means, you can ask for clarification with phrases like, could you rephrase that? Or, what do you mean by?
And finally, for a quick and natural way to ask for help, you can just repeat the confusing word as a question.
Implications?
Exactly like that. You're a fast learner.
This was so helpful, Trevor. I feel a lot more confident already. It really isn't about knowing every single word. It's about having the tools to handle situations where you don't know.
That is the most important lesson of all. Learning a language is a long journey. Every single mistake you make is actually a step forward. It's proof that you are trying.
So, to everyone listening, remember that you are doing a great job just by being here and practicing today. Be proud of your progress.
You're improving every day. Keep listening, keep speaking, and we'll see you in the next episode of English Audio Lab.
And don't forget to subscribe for more lessons to help you on your English journey. Thank you for listening, and see you next time.